Hello all, this is Nandhini, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science at Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Now we are going to discuss about TCP concept in computer network and data communication. So let's discuss. So the TCP, which is designed to provide a reliable communication between the TCP users. So these process across a variety of reliable and unreliable networks and internets. So the TCP provides two useful facilities. There are push and urgent. So the push means the TCP user can require TCP to transmit all data and including the labels with the push flag, and the receiving end, the TCP will deliver these data to the user in the same manner, and the user might request this if it has come to a logical break in the data. And the second facilities is urgent, so that is urgent data signal, so which means it provide a meaning of information the destination TCP user and the destination TCP user significant or urgent data is in the upcoming data stream. And next one is TCP header format. So the TCP header format contain a variety of field, so it has different bits. So let's discuss. So the first field is source port. So the source port has 16 bits, so which means the source, it represent only the source TCP users. And the second field is destination port, so it has 16 bits, so it represent only the destination TCP user. And the third field is sequence number, so it has 32 bits, so which means the sequence number of the first data octet in this segment, and it accept when the SYN flag. So the SYN flag which set the fields contain the initial sequence numbers, and the first data octet in the segment, it has sequence number, that is ISN plus 1. And the next field is acknowledgement number, so it has 32 bits, so which contain the sequence number of the next data octet, and that the TCP entity accepts to receive. And the next field is data offsets, so it has 4 bits, so which represent the number of 32 bits words in the header. And next field is reserved, so it has 4 bits, so which represent the reserved for future use. And next field is windows, so it has 16 bits, so which helps to allocate some flow control credit in octets. So in this windows, it contain a number of data octets, so the octets beginning with the sequence of number, so which indicate in the acknowledgement field. Then the sender is willing to accept. And the next field is checksum, so it has 16 bits, so once the complement sum of all the 16-bit words in the segment plus a pseudo header, so which described subsequently to. And the next header field is urgent pointer, so it has 16 bits, so which means the value when added to the segment sequence number, so which contain the sequence number of the last octet in the sequence of urgent data. So this allows the receiver to know how much urgent data is coming. And the last field is options plus padding. So options is nothing but variables. So for example is the option that it specify the maximum segment size, if the users asking, that size will be accepted. So these are the fields of TCP header format. And next one is TCP implementation policy options. So the TCP standards, so which provides a precise specification of the protocol, so which we used between the TCP entities. So so there are a different type of options are specified. So there are send policy, deliver policy, accept policy, read transmit policy, and acknowledgement policy. So let's we discuss one by one. So the send policy, so which means that TCP may construct a segment for each batch of data, so which provided by the user, or it may wait until a certain the amount of data is accumulated, so between the constructed bit and sending a segment. So the actual policy so will depend on performance consideration. If the transmissions are infrequent or any large data are to send, so there is low overhead in terms of segment generation and processing. So that is called as a send policy. And next one is deliver policy. So receiving the TCP entity, so if it is free to deliver data to the user and its own convenience, so it may deliver the data as each in order to segment is received, or it may buffer data from a number of segment in the receive buffer before and delivery. So if the deliveries are infrequent and large, the user is not receiving the data as promptly, and it may be desirable. So it is called as a delivery policy. And the next one is accept policy. So when all data segments arrive in order, the TCP places the data in a receive buffer for delivery to the user. If possible, the TCP entity has two options. So there are in order and another one is in window. So in order means so which accept only the segment so that arrive in order. Any segment that arrives out of order is discarded. And the second option is in window, so which means it accept all segments so that are with the receive window. So these it is called as a accept policy. And next one is read transmit policy, so which means the TCP maintains queue of segments so that have been sent but not yet acknowledged. So in this stage, the TCP specify the states that it will retransmit the segment if it fails to receive an acknowledgement within a given time. So this retransmit policy, it follow the three retransmission strategies. There are first only batch, and third one is individual. So the first only means it maintain one transmission timer for the entire queue, and batch means it maintain one transmitter timer for the entire queue. If an acknowledgement is received, then they remove the appropriate segment or any queue segments and then reset the timer. If the timer is expires, then again retransmit all segments in the queue, then reset the timer. And the last one is individual. So if an acknowledgement is received, then they remove the appropriate segment or any queue. If the timer is expire, then transmit the corresponding segments individually and reset its timer. So these are the transmit policy strategies. And last option is acknowledgement policy. So which means when a data segment arrives, so that is in sequence, then the receiving TCP entity, it has two options. So there are immediate and cumulative. So immediate means when data are accepted, then immediately transmit an empty, that is no data, which contain the appropriate acknowledgement number. And the second option is cumulative. When the data are accepted, suppose if the record need for acknowledgement means but wait for an outbound stage when the data on which that is piggyback the acknowledgement. So these are the two types of acknowledgement policy. So these are the TCP implementation policies options. And next one is assessment. So these are the reference. Thank you.